sisters, stop marrying out. Black sisters, don't go for these racist white men. Oh, you black sisters, you coons. The black man is playing a game. The black sausage is playing a game. The black King Kong dick is playing a game. Because the black King Kong dick won't build you an empire. He won't build you a civilization. He won't buy a mansion and make you live in it. He won't support you, but he'll fuck you. He won't marry you, but he'll turn you into his whore. And when you've had enough, and you says, I want to be treated like the queen that I am, and you go and find yourself a lovely white man, that same King Kong wants to interfere with your happiness by pretending it was your fault.
Welcome to my channel. This is Divested Diamonds. You have arrived. Hello, ladies. Please do me a favor and click the like button as you watch this video. Thank you kindly. In today's discussion, we're going to talk about the unfruitful marriages between black women and their kings and what these relationships mostly look like. Now, the reason I'm tackling this subject is because there are those of you, black men, who frequent divested channels and talk a lot of BS in the comment section. When most of you come to my channel, you have a lot to say about the divested life. I've heard everything from, if you're so divested, why do you keep talking about black men? To, there are good black men, but y'all keep picking Pookie and Ray Ray. It obviously escapes a lot of these black men when divestors say, we don't date black men. They can't believe our audacity. The issues most women in the so-called community have are caused by mostly black males. Now, mammies do play a major part in the misery of other black women as well, and they can be just as dangerous as you. But what makes them worse is that they are gender traders. See, they are so mesmerized by you that they would do anything to please you, even if it means going against other women for your attention. Most of you are upset that truly divested women don't care about you, okay? You are upset because real divested women do not give your kind the time of day. And yes, we do talk about you when necessary because it's hard to address a lot of issues that black women and children go through without highlighting the cause of those issues. You are the cause of a lot of the suffering that black women and girls go through. Let me give you an example. The Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears story, right? Very bizarre. And while I can't say too much about what's going on there until the facts are exposed, here's what I will say on that matter. You had a black male and a black woman who came together to do a skit that involved children in a very inappropriate way, thinking that somehow that would be funny. There was absolutely nothing funny about that skit. And the fact that these two imbeciles felt that pedophilia was something that could be turned into a joke is extremely sickening. So yeah, it's hard to not bring black men into the conversation, especially when they are not only the problem, but the initiators of various problems. Now, I don't expect much from Aries Spears because, unfortunately, I've become accustomed to black males behaving like the degenerates they are. As for Tiffany Haddish, I don't find her funny at all. She drives that whole ghetto black woman stereotype to another level, and that's not something I support. But let's put that aside. The fact that she felt comfortable participating in something so heinous tells me all I need to know about her. The fact that she felt comfortable doing something so disturbing and thought that it would be somewhat humorous after admitting to being molested herself is not only desperate and short-sighted, it's cruel. She, of all people, should understand that. If she hasn't sought therapy for her trauma, perhaps she needs to seriously consider it, because whatever happened to those kids is clearly affecting them today. And you can't just put a Band-Aid on something like that. It's not okay. You black males are problematic. And the fact that you think that any divested woman who talks about you is simply doing it for your attention points to your lack of depth. You're too shallow-minded to have any intelligent, educated black woman's attention. You're not what we want. You're undesirable, but yet you insist that divestors want you. That's crazy. Also, you keep showing how simple-minded you are when you show up on my channel with these types of comments, right? Here's what this guy had to say. Divest all you want. Just identify yourself in public like a scarlet letter so the people who haven't divested can avoid helping and or supporting you. This comment was left on a community post from 3 weeks ago where I talked about 20-year-old Rakaya Paulette King, who was deleted by her 27-year-old boyfriend, Emmanuel Duane Cobble, for refusing to have an abortion. You see, a normal person would have empathy or sympathy for this young lady whose life was cut short. But no, not these black males. Because a black woman's life in Blackistan is meaningless. It's cheap. That is why they are out here shooting up any and everything like an episode of The Purge. It's disgusting how the only thing that he could say underneath that post was how black women who are divested should be outing themselves so they wouldn't get help. Help from whom? Black men? As a black woman, if something were to happen out in public, do you really think that my first instinct would be to ask a black male for help? You're crazy. Every time I've been perceived as a damsel in distress, the offer of help has come from everybody else but a black male. Now, I remember this one time when I had to return something through the UPS store. The item was in a box. On my way to the store, this nice gentleman, right, a white man, asked me if he could help, but I kindly declined. And that's not the only situation I've been in where someone has offered to help. And every single time it's been white men. So this whole thing about announcing our divestment in public is asinine. Most of us don't live our lives like that anyway. And what I mean by that is no one is going around telling everybody in sight that they're divested in real life. They just simply live their lives in peace, away from the likes of you and anyone with your mindset. I mean, who goes around saying, "Hey, how are you? My name is so-and-so. I'm divested." That's just crazy. Anyone who understands this lifestyle, this mindset, knows a divested woman when they see one. But yeah, this dude is just another example of yet another black male who cares nothing about the well-being of black women. This young woman lost her life, and all you're concerned about is divestors? Ladies, the obsession is real, but let's move on. Now, for those of you who feel that there's still hope between black men and women, all I can say is, You are clearly delusional. This man left this comment a couple of months ago, right? On the video entitled, "The Value of a Black Man Isn't Money, My Response to Shalakemia." And he said, "We will never have a better culture if we never encourage better outcomes in the Black family. Those who want a better life and outcome will come aboard. Those who divest and encourage separation will yield bad results in life." In this context, I have not heard one encouraging word to success, which is sad. How about bringing encouragement to the table for both sides? Yeah. First of all, this man confused my channel for one of these pro-Black B1 let's coddle the Black male channels. Black males have had ample time to make amends with Black women, but they refuse to do that. They chose to put their needs first. And that, my friends, is something they've always done. So we're in 2022, and they are finally coming to the realization that Black women aren't playing their games anymore. But of course, there will never be a shortage of mammies. Those will always exist. But I do find it funny, however, that they are always in the comment section of women who don't want them, women who aren't attracted to them, women who don't date them, pleading their case. Isn't that sad? Like, bruh, nobody cares. A lot of you, whether educated or not, share a lot of similarities in the way you treat women and what you expect of them for nothing. Most educated lames are no different from Pookie and Ray Ray. Same man, different station in life. Most are out here dating when they have no business doing that. What they need is therapy, self-reflection, and accountability. But we all know that accountability for Black males is taboo. Unfortunately, those who choose to date or marry you find out sooner or later that perhaps being single, having a cat, having a dog, or dating out is maybe something that they should heavily consider. I have 2 stories highlighting this, so let's get started.
Y'all, I was married for 17 years. I found out that my husband talked to these hoes on Facebook and stuff. He done left me behind my back. I couldn't go to work last night because I didn't have no babysitter because he the one to keep the kids while I go to work. This bastard don't got no job. He a fake ass rapper, and these hoes is talking to him. I know they talking to him though because they been looking on that page, seeing me and him together, seeing us going on vacations and stuff. But well, let me tell you hoes something which I fail to realize is I made that happen. So you should have been trying to talk to me, bitch, if you really want to know, because he didn't do none of that motherfucking shit. And he left me behind my back. So good luck with that. Y'all think y'all stealing somebody's man, somebody's husband. Bitch, please. The only thing I'm mad about is that I couldn't go to work to make my money because this nigga want me to be home. Okay, so y'all, I was married for 17 years.
So she chose to get married to a male with no job, right? Wasted 17 years with a wannabe rapper who was broke and allowed him to stay in her house, most likely, while he took care of the kids, allegedly. Because I'm wondering what kind of quality time a person like that would give his kids while he's busy online making love connections with random women on Facebook. But oh no, give a brother a chance, right? Be supportive. Help him with his dreams. Dreams that may or may not come to fruition. This is crazy. Any woman who puts her dreams on the back burner to help cultivate someone else's dreams is investing in disappointment. This is why you must never date or marry based on potential. She chose her station in life, and now she's on the internet complaining about it. At which point did she discover that she married a bum? Was it the first 3 months of their relationship? The first year? Or was it the entire 17 years? Meanwhile, he had used all that free time messing around with women, and because he's useless, broke, worthless, unemployed, the chances are she won't be seeing a dime in child support. This is exactly what they want Black women to do. Have their back, stroke their ego, and put them on a pedestal for merely existing. This is crazy. At this point, she needs to forgive herself for choosing poorly. And while I don't agree with homewrecker mentality, those women highlighted the poor choice she made. Look at it this way, right? If any of those women think that they are getting the prize by being with him, the joke is on them. Because how you get them is how you lose them. There is no joy in helping another woman suffer. Karma knows everybody's address, so don't be surprised when she comes knocking on your door. This is why Black women need to heal first before entering these empty relationships. Giving your mind, body, and soul to a narcissistic demon will only leave you hurt, broken, and empty. It's not worth risking your well-being for a loser. Leave such males where they belong, and that's the trash. She basically paid for everything while he sat on his ass, draining her energy. And that's 17 years of her life she'll never get back. A man should be taking care of you and your kids, and not slinging his peen across social media. My question is, would she be doing this video had he not left her behind her back? Because I find it hard to believe that she hadn't experienced any form of infidelity at all prior to his departure. I'm just saying. Ladies, self-love is not only important for vetting and keeping away the undesirable, it also acts as a shield in preventing such situations from happening. Hypergamy matters. Someone's moral values matter. Character matters. Don't compromise your needs and wants or your integrity for any loser. You can't raise or build a man. If a man tells you that he's ready to settle down, he needs to meet certain requirements, certain standards. If he can't meet the basics, and I mean the bare minimum of a relationship, you shouldn't be entertaining any of his deficits. Leave that male alone. So now that we're done with Pookie, let's take a look at the educated lame, shall we?
Hey TikTok. So I've talked about our dating. I've talked about how he pulled me in. So now we're married. We don't go on a honeymoon. We definitely talked about going on a honeymoon. He pitched the Amalfi Coast. And so I was under the impression we were going to the beautiful Amalfi Coast. And probably 3 months before the wedding, he approached me and said, you know, it's just really difficult to get there and it's going to cost a lot. And what do you think about going to Vegas? Did you say Vegas? I don't want to go to Vegas. I've been to Vegas, been there, done that. I don't want to go to Vegas for my honeymoon. So that'll factor in later. But for this, it's neither here or there. Neither here nor there that I did not get a honeymoon.
When two people are newly married, the honeymoon is something the couple looks forward to because it's the icing on the cake, right? You're getting to explore each other and know each other intimately in a dream setting, away from the drudgery of everyday life. Most women tend to view that as an important part of their introduction to their new life as a married couple. So for him to tell her that it was too far or that it was too expensive after having what I would presume to be an extensive conversation on the matter is not only disappointing, but a red flag. Why would he not gift his wife or soon-to-be wife a honeymoon? Were finances something they discussed prior to being married? See, there are so many things that need to be talked about prior to tying the knot. A lot of women, unfortunately, seem to get lost in this world of fantasy where they romanticize marriage and forget to ask the real questions.
So 30 or so days in, give or take a few, he loses his job. He called me at work and he said, "Baby, I am officially unemployed." I said, "Okay." I ain't freak out. I just said, "What happened?" Yada, yada, yada. And sitting right there, I said, "Well, don't even worry about it. I got you. It's all good. Don't worry about it. I'm finna put you and baby girl on my insurance right now so y'all don't miss a beat." I did that because I was his wife. I was his partner, and that's what I was supposed to do. He was supposed to have my back, and I was supposed to have his. So we're dealing with that.
Strike two. First, the honeymoon, or lack thereof, and now the man loses his job a month into their marriage. And this is what I'm always talking about. Black women being socialized to coddle and pedestalize these males is dangerous. Him losing his job was not a random thing. Usually, there are warning signs before any of these things happen. He knew that this would happen, but didn't tell her. He probably calculated how much she earned and figured that they would be good on one source of income. Did he mention anything to her about troubles at work? No. She seemed clueless. Automatically, she went into protective mode. I'll protect what's mine. I'll have his back. I'm his wife now. This is what I'm supposed to do. I'll include his daughter in my insurance. She's doing everything possible to keep things together because she thinks that this is just a little hiccup along the way. After all, marriage isn't perfect. This is my partner. I can handle this. Listen, ladies, when major issues such as these start showing up so early in the relationship, those are red flags. There is no reason for any woman to think it's normal to handle such huge struggles at the beginning of their marriage. See, you have to ask yourself, if things are this turbulent right at the start of your marriage, what does your future look like? So far, it's been one issue after another, perpetuated by the same person. It's very clear that they didn't bother to have the important conversations in their relationship earlier on. Because trust me, it gets worse. Let's continue.
And then on the heels of that, we get some documents in the mail. There's an $80,000 back child support case that he needs to defend. $80K? All my hopes and dreams were just evaporating before my eyes. We talked about buying a new house, our house. Because remember, that house was he and his ex-wife's house. And even though we did the renovations, I just never felt like it was my home. And some of his behaviors didn't help that situation. And I'll talk about that too. So now we're dealing with unemployment. living on one salary when we lived on two, and an $80,000 back child support case. Okay.
Strike 3. Looks like hubby is the gift that keeps on giving. First, the honeymoon cancellation. Then he loses his job. And now she learns that he owes $80,000 in back child support. You can't make this shit up. Instantly, I have tons of questions. How many children does he have? How long has he not paid child support? And why does she not know anything about this? Why was this not taken care of before he decided to get married? All these questions lead to one place: deceit. His true colors are now displaying themselves in full force. Withholding information knowingly is lying. It's deceptive and a form of manipulation. This woman has just been breadcrumbed into a marital situation for his own personal gain. Normally, people who breadcrumb tend not to go as far as marriage. He's still showing signs of non-commitment, even with a ring on. People like him are always pushing boundaries to see how much they can get away with. They test the waters first to see how your reaction would be, and then later, the gaslighting begins. When a person has this many layers to peel back, everything that they tell you is based on 20% truth and 80% lies, if that. What he has done here is get her into an emotionally binding situation where the legalities of it will make her think twice before heading for the exit. As far as he's concerned, he's got her locked down. This is the type of situation where his rebuttal will be of a self-serving, self-pity nature, where he would paint himself as a victim. At this point, the mother or mothers to those children will be the reason that he finds himself in this mess. It's their fault. I tried to do the right thing, but they weren't working with me. It's everybody else's fault but his own. His expectations of her are support, unconditional love, and lots of nurturing. Kind of like what a mother does for a child. Let's continue.
He got unemployment, I think, for like 13 months, or not 13 months, 13 weeks. And it was like a couple $100. So, and he couldn't extend it. We tried to extend it. He couldn't extend it. So when we were in mediation, one of the things he said was, I was paying bills. I got unemployment. Boy, bye. The unemployment that you got paid a mortgage payment and maybe the trash bill. And that's it. So I thought we were going to live happily ever after. And out the gate, I'm getting slapped with stuff.
So this is the alternative to Pookie and Ray Ray. When these males are telling black women that good black men do exist, this is just one of many types that they're talking about. All he did was breadcrumb this woman. She had hopes, dreams, and aspirations for her marriage, but everything started crumbling right at the beginning of their marriage. You know, it's okay to admit that you made a mistake, ladies. It's never a good idea to keep going when deep down you know that you chose poorly and the person that you thought he was turned out to be the complete opposite of what you got. Annulments are there for a reason. An annulment will void a marriage and appear as though the marriage never occurred. It would also save you from splitting marital assets and all the painful things that people go through in a regular divorce, because it restores your status to pre-marriage. She had every right to ask for one because the man that she was married to turned out to have fraudulent tendencies. Who knows what else he was hiding, right? He misrepresented himself and withheld very vital information from her. Unfortunately, She gave him the benefit of the doubt and stayed. But there's a twist at the end. I had a lot of questions about this, and so I went to her TikTok page and found an additional video she had made explaining a few things, because I think that a lot of people had the same questions I had. Here's what she had to say.
Hey, TikTok. So I just want to fill in some gaps. I've gotten some questions about how long were we together, etc. So all together, we were, the time we were together was about 6 years and some change, dating plus marriage. We met at a lounge. I was out with my girlfriend, and he sent 2 drinks over, came over, started talking to us, realized we worked at the same company. And I was like, yeah, I'm not talking to him because he works where I work. We didn't talk for like 3 months. And then my girlfriend urged me to reach out. So I did. And then we started to date. That's how we met.
See, the moment she realized that they worked for the same company, she should have left him alone then. Her friend encouraging her to date him shouldn't have mattered, because this is what happens when you mix business with pleasure. Her first instincts were correct, but chose to ignore them. It's never a good idea, ladies. Listen to your intuition. Let's continue.
He has been married 4 times. I am his 4th wife, which I did not know. When we went to premarital counseling, the counselors, one of the first things they asked you, how many times have you been married? His response was twice. So I thought I was wife number 3, that he just reiterated what I already knew. You know, I was going to be his 3rd wife. But through our divorce and me investigating, I found out he was married 4 times.
That's problematic. The fact that she was wife number 4 and didn't know it speaks to his lack of transparency. That should have been a major concern for her. She initially thought that she was wife number 3, and that didn't bother her. You know, they keep talking about women being used up and body count and how no man wants a woman who's been around, but this guy seems pretty used up to me. He'd been through the recycle bin a little too many times, and I think that he was ready for the landfill. Just saying. Goodness knows how many other women he'd been with prior to being married. Did he cheat during those marriages? You can't trust a man who lies for sport, because it's nothing to him. I can understand someone being on their 2nd marriage because the first one didn't work out. First marriages aren't always the best, and I think it's fair to give yourself grace and say, okay, perhaps I chose poorly the first time, and so I'll give it a second try. I could also understand if he was getting married again because his previous wife wasn't alive anymore. But to keep collecting wives like trinkets is so bizarre. Rather than fix his messed up life as a result of his own bad choices, he keeps looking for more women to help him share the financial burden of his own poor decision making. What a mess. And I get that she was lied to, but it also appears that for whatever reason, she kept ignoring red flags. She didn't vet this guy at all, it seems. But then again, like one of you diamonds said, black males cannot be vetted. And I think that's very true. The lies kept getting deeper and deeper. And I just don't understand how many signs could have made it obvious that she was married to a habitual liar. The honeymoon that never happened. The unemployment after 1 month of marriage. The $80,000 in back child support. These were not red flags. They were red banners. A rocky start like the one she had should have given her even more reason to immediately investigate and find out what else he was hiding. This is almost like watching an episode of the ID channel's Who the Bleep Did I Marry? Very strange. But let's continue.
Now, let me tell y'all about that. So, my mother-in-law used to always mention this woman that he dealt with, and she was from the neighborhood, but I didn't really put two and two together. Like, I thought it was strange, and it didn't sit well, but I was like, I don't really know what that's about. She would say, yeah, she had some tax money that she got back, and she gave it to her family, and he got upset about that, and that's what broke them up. He said, Mama, I packed her stuff up and I took her back where I found her. And so to me, I was like, why is he concerned about that lady tax money? Well, once I found out he was married 4 times and that was his wife, I was like, that's why he was concerned about the tax money. But yeah, he never told me he was married 3 times previously. So I got duped there too. So when we had our last big blow up, I was talking to my mother-in-law and I said, he's been married 4 times. And I didn't know that. She said, yeah, I would hear you say things, but I was just like, oh, she just misunderstands. She just misunderstood, or I just didn't say nothing. What do you mean?
Black women who deal with black males have to understand that some of these mothers work in cahoots with their no good sons. 9 times out of 10, they're looking for women to offload their trashy sons on. These are some nasty, trifling women who pawn their sons off on unassuming women, knowing absolutely well that these males are garbage. Defective DNA. But it's all good in the name of black love, right? You want black babies and keep the black family, right? Peace and love, family. His mother knew exactly what was going on, but she wasn't going to tell her anything. Why would she snitch on her own son? You have to remember the weird relationships that some of these women have with their sons. They either love them too much to the point where if it wasn't against the law, they would have relations with their husbands or even marry them themselves. Or they pawn them onto unassuming black women to relieve them of that burden. There was no way that she was going to make her own son look bad, even if it meant saving another woman. Let's continue.
But okay. So I remember talking to someone else. Well, it was her. My dad was actually talking to her. And he mentioned that he had been married 4 times. And she said, well, he don't count that other marriage. What do you mean, ma'am? He don't count that other marriage. He does not get to make the rules of the land. If you married, you married. And it was not annulled like some folks believe. I have 3 prior divorce decrees from 3 different women. He has been married legally 3 times and none of them have been annulled. So I'll talk about that a little bit more in depth as well.
So there you have it. She finally woke up and said goodbye to a loser. Are these the high-value males the manosphere and others like to talk about? Are you non-divestors still interested in pursuing black love? These black-on-black relationships are so full of drama. There's always someone plotting, right? There's always someone plotting. You can't have peace in these types of relationships because of the constant gaslighting. And when you respond, they have the audacity to call you masculine. So yeah, if you want to be a mule, if you want to lose your edges, if you want high levels of cortisol and eventually suffer from a heart attack or a minor stroke, get you a black man. Every day is fun day, and there's never a dull moment. If you want to shorten your life but want those black babies, either as a single married woman or a straight up baby mama, welcome to black love. But anyway, let's continue. So ladies, we've been extended a special invitation from one of these passport bros. I'm going to need you ladies to RSVP as soon as possible because this is what we've been waiting for, right? So, according to this guy, he says, we, passport brothers, have no problem with you ladies divesting. So, the divestors, and the passport guys need to get together to spread the word so that sisters can divest and brothers can get their passports and go overseas for wives. Nobody needs to argue when we both want the same thing and should work together. Sade is really sweet. That would be Shay Sade, right? She posts a lot of factual data, he says. The need to ignore facts and listen to a woman who can't read stats is astounding. A woman who doesn't believe black femicide is even a thing. See, these knuckleheads will support any mammy pick-me who strokes their ego. So, ladies, are you interested in joining forces with passport bros? Bear in mind that these fools aren't going anywhere, right? Because most of them are felons. And like I've said before, most of them have never even left the towns that they grew up in. Woo! Oh my goodness. But yeah, they want to work with divestors. Listen, sir, you need to get your movement in the right direction first and liaise with your people about your true intentions. You say that you want to go overseas to get wives, but some of your buddies' intentions are to go overseas to pump and dump. Your movement seems a little disorganized. You're all over the place. And if you think that these foreign women are willing to put up with your bullshit, good luck with that, okay? You're in for a rude awakening. Sure, they'll take your money, but that's pretty much it. If you don't believe me, listen for yourself.
P.S. I am Caribbean woman, and I know lots of women overseas just want documents. Also, we are not going to put up with their BS. Yes, y'all do. As soon as they come over with their money in their hands, y'all put right up with our mess. Another thing is, we know, okay, you got to realize a lot of us men have been in the service, especially as older cats, and we're teaching the younger cats. We know y'all trying to get that green card. That's why we keep y'all over there. We don't marry you. We come over and enjoy ourselves and then come back to the States and build ourselves. Okay, we men are working on stacking our cheddar. We're working on the younger men that don't have any type of schooling. We're working on getting them school. We're working on our young men getting their credit clean and buying their own homes. That's the type of stuff we're working on. But thank you for your help.
Why are you so comfortable bragging about being irresponsible? I don't understand. I will speak from an African perspective. Yes, the internet is forever. It's also worldwide. These type of video, they make their way across the continent. And sometimes our people will send us the video like, wow, this is what's going on over there. Yes. And unfortunately, there are places and there are people on the continent who don't want to travel outside, who've never been outside, but they meet these type of people, and then guess what? This is the image that they have of black people in America. So it's not just the media that is out here pointing out to be bad. The bad apples that we have within our groups are also ruining us at the same time. And I find it very strange that you sit on this app and brag, and this is not the only video, there's multiple of them all bragging about I go there, have a good time, and come back, because palm color men have been doing this to where they will impregnate these women. A lot of them, it's based on the big R. They will end up getting pregnant, and then they abandon their children because, you know, they are the godfather of irresponsible fathers. They abandon their children and then go back to their respective nations. So black men now want this proximity, and they want to be able to do the same thing and get away with it. That's why you keep finding this video talking about like, oh, I'm tired of black American women. I'm going to go overseas and find me a submissive wife. Guess what? We are letting them know what's up. You will not find anybody in my family or my town because they're very much aware of the BS. You're not going to hurt black women in one place and then think you're going to move to another place and do the exact same thing. Haven't you noticed who's the common denominator in this problem, in this whole equation? This is not a flex. Those women will get married. You are not the marriage material. You are not the husband material. Like the fuck.
Well, overseas women are talking, and apparently they don't want you either. Woo! Imagine that. The desperation is real. Listen, true divestors aren't interested in this allyship. Just go about your business. We don't care what you do, as long as you keep your hands to yourselves, stop abusing and deleting black women and girls. That's all we ask. Everything else is your business, not ours. Stay out of our way and we'll stay out of yours. On that note, what are your thoughts on what's been discussed here today? Please leave your thoughts and comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And remember, ladies, divest, divest, divest. Thank you so much for watching. This is Divested Diamonds, and I'll see you next time. Bye, diamonds.